Hello, I'm going to do the Capricorn love relationship reading. And this may or may not resonate with you. If it does, take the parts that do resonate. And if it does not, leave the parts that do not resonate, as those may be meant for someone else. All right, so I have my rose quartz here for an overall energy. And I have my whispers of love. So we're going to look at what you may possibly be struggling with the whispers of love, and then we'll get some tarot. All right. What's going on with Capricorn? I feel like this one's kind of popping out. We have get to know each other, learn to meet another's need for love. Okay, so that may be what you may possibly be struggling with, is getting to know the other person so that you know what their needs are. Are you struggling with that? Are you not really clear with what it is their needs are? Have you really taking the relationship to a deeper level? But in order to be able to do that, you have to be able to give within yourself. Like, you can't expect the other person to do that, and you're not going to return that. That you're not going to let your walls down, that you're not going to let that person in. Sometimes we can be with someone for a really long time, but yet we really don't know them. All right, so why is Capricorn struggling with this? What else is going on? The Capricorn is struggling within this relationship. What is going on? All right, so I'm feeling like that's not... Maybe we'll keep that to the side. We'll see. I don't know. Struggling with... Okay, here we go. This feels right. Okay, so we have this. Looking towards the future, and maybe that's why you're not opening up, is because you're like, well, I don't really know if I want to be with this person. I don't know if this is the person that's right for me. I don't know where I see my future with this person. And maybe you are questioning that future, and that's why you are not letting your walls down. That's why you're not, getting to know that person. That's why you're really not having that closeness in this relationship. But I feel like that's something definitely that you have to decide. Yeah, here we go. Relationship. That you're not communicating, you're not seeing eye to eye. The feelings maybe are not mutual within this relationship, okay? The feelings may not be mutual. And maybe, are you overthinking things? Are you thinking about your future? Are you wondering, where do I go from here? Are you wondering, is this a person that I want to spend the future with? Is this a pattern or a habit? Is this a relationship pattern that you have done in the past? Do your relationships get to a certain point and then they stop? Because it's almost like you can give up to a point, and all of a sudden you start to shut down. All right? That you start to shut down, that you start to back away, that you start to move away from things, that you start to close off, and you start to put walls up. Is that what happens? But is there a part of you that says, I want this Nine of Cups, that I want this relationship, that I want to pursue this, but yet you're not willing to let those walls down, right? I feel like this is something that you're going back and forth with, that you want it, but that you don't want it. And that you want it, but you're not willing to let your own walls down. Is there something going on with your past that you need to deal with, right? Why is Capricorn feeling this blockage, right? I feel like there's something that you have to deal with. There's something that you have to face within yourself before you can move forward with this relationship. There's something that you have to rise above. I feel like there's something from your past, something that's blocking you with this relationship, or relationships in general, that your relationships get to a certain point and then they stop, right? And then you back away, right? And then you shut down. I feel like that's what you need to focus on, and that's what you need to look at in order to find those answers. Looking at things from a different perspective. I love it, right? Having that hangman energy where you're like, I've got to stop. You've got some things that you need to let go of. You've got some things that you need to let go of. There's weight that you are holding on to that is preventing you from having that close connection with someone. By taking the step back and letting those things go, then you're able to start new. Then you're able to start fresh. All right, let's pull one more. Right, I love it. Ace of Pentacles, new beginnings, new starts. Okay. And we'll just look at the bottom of the deck, thinking about, there's something in your past that is affecting you with your relationships. I just feel like you get to a certain point in your relationship and then you stop. So let's go with these again. Let's go back to these. Nine of Pentacles, having the rewards for working on your past. What is it about the past for Capricorn that they're struggling with, right? What is it about? What happened? Okay. Opening new doors, opening new... what is it? In the past, Two of Wands. There's kind of this big dark tree standing here in between the middle, so I feel like that needs to be addressed. Temperance Sagittarius, it could have to do with a Sagittarius. Patience, compromise. The Wands, there's something with this Two of Wands. Something with this Two of Wands about the past. I feel like maybe you gave the wrong person a chance. Maybe you believed in the wrong person and that they really hurt you in the past and that you thought that it was something very positive, but they ended up manipulating and they ended up hurting you and they ended up being a dark figure. That you had this lightness and you had this brightness about you and you had this hope and you had these dreams and you were thinking all of this positive energy, and then they ended up being sort of this dark figure in all of this light. And I feel like you had opened your heart up to that, but that person, you kind of realized after a while that they really weren't who you thought they were. And I feel like that's what you have not really... You may have that fear that if you open up that door to someone else, this new person or someone new is going to do the same thing to you. That they're going to repeat that pattern. And that you have not fully processed what had happened. And maybe you were upset with yourself because you were like, why didn't I see that? Why didn't I see the signs? Why didn't I recognize that? And I feel like someone caught you by surprise, and it's almost like that person hurt you, but then you hurt yourself because you were frustrated with yourself because you didn't see that. And maybe you stayed in the relationship longer than you thought, than you should have. Sometimes we just keep giving people chances until we finally realize, yeah, I need to walk away. And I feel like that's what just has not been processed. There's something, and that's why you're not opening up to other people, is because you're afraid the pattern's going to repeat itself. And you have to realize that this is what you have to process. You have to process these things before you can move forward. That you have to work on you first before your relationships can become, I feel like you want that closeness, you want that connection with the person because you wanted it back here, but it didn't turn out right, that it was disappointing. But unfortunately, those things happen in our lives, and then it makes us realize what we don't want, but we also can't let those situations affect our future, even though that was very hard and that was very difficult, but we can't let those things affect our future. That we have to have that faith and belief that we need to stand up for ourselves, and we need to release that energy so it doesn't stop us from future relationships, that we can have that closeness. Because if we keep that energy, it's always going to control us, and it's always going to hold us back, and it's always going to be affecting us. And seeing how it's affecting you, and that it's still having control over you because you haven't processed it and you haven't moved on from it. And taking things into your own hands, right? Not dealing with that energy anymore. And kind of facing those dragons, facing those demons, and dealing with that, and realizing, okay, yeah, that relationship has been affecting all of my future relationships. Because if you're looking at your relationship pattern and you're saying, I've only been able to get so far, and then I stop in a relationship, and it keeps repeating itself. And sometimes we just have to take that time to ourselves, and we have to work on ourselves before we can have future relationships. There's things that we have to work on first within ourselves, so that we can open the door to other people, so that we can get to know the other person, so that we can build that strong relationship, that connection, and our emotions feel better and feel lighter. That release, that lightness. So I feel like that's what's holding you back within your relationship. There's something here from the past that you have to realize, that you have to work on, that you have to look at and see how it's affecting you, and why is it affecting you. Like I said, not only I feel that that person hurt you, but that you felt disappointed within yourself that you let that happen. But you know, sometimes we just get involved in relationships and we kind of don't really realize what had happened until we back away from it, until we were able to take a step back and look into it and see, and release that, and then start new and start fresh. So I definitely feel like there's new emotions and there's feelings, and there's definitely some beautiful new beginnings for you, but it's the past that you have to focus on, and that you have to look at, and that you have to deal with, and that you have to work through. And once you do that, that opens the door to that closeness within the relationship. And this could take some time. This could take some time to work through. You know, that's something that, gosh, it took me years in order to work through that. And there was multiple relationships that I felt, you know, not only with family members, but with other people that I had to work through. All right, we have Lion Spirit. Be generous of spirit, but I feel like it's being strong. It's being confident, that it's, you know, kind of facing those challenges. Because if you want this 9 of Cups, and if you want this 2 of Cups, that there's some things that you have to work on, that you have to get through first in order to achieve that. But I feel that it's definitely within your grasp. But it's up to you on what it is that you want to do, and for you to look at that and deal with that. And just even maybe thinking about, okay, yeah, you know what? My relationships always get to a certain point, and then I shut down, right? And then I'm the 8 of Swords, and then I back away, and then I shut down, and then it doesn't go any further. And why is that? And looking at that, asking yourself those questions. How do I get past it? What is it that I need to deal with and work on within myself? All right. Thank you so much for watching. As always, stay positive, stay safe, and I will see you next time.